Our first 24 hours in Dublin, Ireland started with a walking tour, and we think you should too. Stick around for this video as we explore the streets, learn about Ireland's historical past, and try some local food favorites. Okay everybody, today's video we have a guest.
Who's joining us?
It's my sister Danielle, and we just got to Dublin yesterday, and today we're going to check out the city and see what it has to offer. We got our run in this morning, out for a little jog this morning on this beautiful day in Dublin. People say it's always cloudy in Dublin. Not today. Meg loves running. And as you know, we love our walking tours. So we're gonna show you another free walking tour of the city of Dublin. Let's check it out.
All right.
So we've started our walking tour in a park on the southern end of the city of Dublin called St. Stephen's Green. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Tons of people here having picnics, hanging out. I should also probably mention, being that this is the official start of our walking tour, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Rick Steves. That's a joke, he's not sponsoring us, but that would be cool. But anyway, we gotta have Rick Steves with us, kind of showing us the ropes, giving us some facts, so we're not just aimlessly walking around.
At the same time. This is really hard, no one's gonna clap it, come on!
We have just entered onto Grafton Street, which, as you can see, this is where all the action is happening. Look how many people are on the street. It's full of like shopping and different pubs and such like that, but there's tons of energy here. Man, Grafton Street has a great vibe with all the live music. I love like people like perfecting their craft and trying to make it. It's so fun, the energy they have, and all the live music is amazing.
If you want to, times. I can't do it. We just entered the main square in Trinity College. It's one of the more prestigious colleges, very similar to like Oxford and Cambridge in England.
So behind me here is the library at Trinity College. That is also where the Book of Kells is, which is probably the most famous part on campus here. Though you do have to pay to get inside. Now, being that we're trying to keep this walking tour free, we're not gonna go in, but I would highly recommend, if you have some extra time, going in there and checking it out, because again, it's supposed to be probably the most iconic place on campus. But the building's still very, very cool. The architecture here is amazing.
That's what's next.
For lunch, we are sitting down to a classic Irish meal with a Mexican burrito bowl. Not an Irish meal, but it looks really good. Okay, so right now we are at the Dublin Castle, and behind me here you can see the oldest standing part of the castle, which is this kind of circle part that looks really medieval. The rest of the castle actually burned down in the 1600s, but what's really fascinating to me is this castle was ruled by the British for 700 years. It wasn't until 1922, when Ireland got its independence, that the castle was given back. Really cool structure. You can really see the difference between this old part here behind me, the circle part that looks really medieval, and kind of the new part that looks Georgian. I think that's how you say it. Georgian? I don't know. It's called the Georgian style. I'm correcting myself, not Georginian.
Stick around and you see what I mean. There's a mountain top I'm dreaming of. If you need me, you know where I'll be. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. in the front, two in the back, sailing along and we won't look back. Two in the front, two in the back, sailing along and we won't look back, 'cause I'm on my way.
I don't know, I was like, what are the odds?
So right here is the first Viking settlement in Ireland. And actually underneath this building, a lot of the artifacts are still buried.
It is kind of crazy how underneath this modern building here that there's still millions and millions of artifacts from a Viking settlement that used to be here, and they just built the building right on top. I'm pretty sure there is probably some controversy with that whole construction project. Okay, so the one critique that we were just laughing about with Rick Steves is that he expects you to maybe run between points, because they're like, okay, you should be standing on the bridge now, and you're like, no, I'm like 4 blocks away from the bridge. So anyway, it's just kind of funny how fast they expect you to walk. So behind me here is the Temple Bar. Now this whole area is called like the Temple Bar area, but this behind me is the Temple Bar, which you've maybe seen it before. It's a super popular tourist destination. So if you're looking for that classic photo, stop by this place, maybe even have a drink. It's definitely worth a stop for sure. This white building behind me here, just an ordinary building, but on the top floor was actually where U2's recording studio was, which hopefully you've heard of the band U2. It's really cool to see the beginnings of bands and kind of how they start so small and grow to be so big worldwide. But anyway, top of this floor is U2's recording studio. Okay, now that our walking tour is coming to a close, I have a few takeaways. Okay, first takeaway was this topic was brought up multiple times across our Rick Steves walking tour, and that was the conflict between the Protestants and the Catholics. That history in Ireland is seen throughout the entire city, and I'm sure throughout even the entire country, which was really interesting, the conflicts they had there, including how Trinity College used to be only allowed for Protestants in an effort to try to convert the country to that way of thinking and religion, which I thought was kind of interesting. Second takeaway, this city is super walkable. I highly recommend walking around the city, maybe even renting a bike or something like that, as it's a great way to see the city, as well as it's not super big. It's very accessible to walk across the entire city in 25-30 minutes. And then my last takeaway is how much live music and energy is in this city. It's really a special treat to just be walking down the roads and streets and seeing live music. So overall, walking tour was a huge success. Okay, I lied. One last point on the walking tour before I stop talking about the walking tour is that you might be wondering why me and Meg always do these kind of self-guided walking tours. To be honest, the biggest reason for us is it helps us get a lay of the land, kind of set up our trip for what we want to do in the city or region we're in. It's really helpful, even if you can't necessarily go in all the places because you don't want to pay for it or something like that. It's still really valuable for us because we can see all the restaurants, we can see how far things are away, and it really just sets us up for a great trip in that area or that region. So that is the reason why we do our walking tours so often, and hopefully it helps you get some ideas for your own trips and maybe help you plan your travels when you come to these cities.
I don't see it that bad.
All right, we are back outside after a little relaxing in the hotel. Our objective for tonight is to get some dinner and find something that's a little bit more traditional to Ireland, not Mexican.
Oh wow. so good. Thank you.
So we ended up at a restaurant called Old Mill, which definitely has some more traditional Irish food. I got the, what did I get, Meg?
Cottage pie.
I got the cottage pie, which has like mashed potatoes, like carrots. There's some beef in there as well. And then obviously I had to pair with some chips. Danielle, what'd you get?
I got some beef stew with a little bread on the side. It has some, yeah, beef stew.
And I got traditional fish and chips. Starting off strong.
Yeah, that was so good.
Finally getting some traditional Irish food in our bellies. Let's eat.
Hot. I did not expect a mint. I expected.
Okay, that is it for today's video. We had a great day starting off with our walking tour, then moving on to some good food at a little bit more of a traditional Irish place. But anyway, thanks for following along, and we will see you in the next video. Join us in our next video as we venture from Dublin into the Irish countryside.